Thank you. Thank you. Good evening and welcome to the Liberian Diaspora Forum Weekly Talk Show. The date is Sunday, August 4th, 2013, and the local time here is 4:30. It's 4:45 Central Minnesota time, 4:45 p.m. Central Minnesota time. Today, we have the esteemed privilege of hosting Ganta City Mayor Honorable D.DORR Cooper for the second time, I might add. The mayor will be discussing several developmental issues within his city, Ganta, Nimba County, and perhaps the whole of Liberia tonight, including, but not limited to, the ongoing land dispute settlement through cash payment and the West African regional power supply soon to be available in Nimba and other surrounding counties in Liberia. The rules, as always, we ask that you be safer. He's doing us a great favor to call Mayor minds away just to share, to throw light on issues that are happening back at home. So we ought to be grateful for that. So I ask that we'll be safer at all times during the show. My name is Kafumba Krama. As always, I will be your host, your moderator. Mayor Cooper?
Yes.
Yeah, I want to welcome you to the show, and the floor is yours. So you may go ahead with your introductory remark, and then shortly after that, we will begin entertaining our people's concern, comment, or questions for you here. Once again, I'm very delighted you honor my invitation for the second time. Thank you. The floor is yours. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar. Again, like you rightly said, my name is D.DORR Cooper, the mayor of Ganta. I'd like to, in this public manner, say greetings to my people out there who are listening to me tonight on this show. Basically, my topic tonight will concentrate or focus on the issue of the cash payment that has been done in Ganta or in bound for the land dispute, the final payment process that is currently going on. And then we will be again looking at the electricity supply to Gompa City and parts adjacent. We may also briefly look at the issue of the road project, the Guinea border Banga road project that is starting right now in the city. But to just give you a highlight of what we are about to discuss, as you may be aware, the government of Liberia realized that after 14 years of war, most of our people, like I always told people, Ganta have had an exclusive nature of the conflict, and Ganta was gravely affected by the war. More especially, the central part of Ganta got completely destroyed as a result of the war. And people returning, most of whom were ex-combatants, built randomly, and most of them are also people who live here with the fighting forces. Most of them who remain here built on properties that didn't belong to them. And then there were also an issue of boundary dispute. Most of those who built here were also permanent residents of Ganta prior to the war. And then, as you may be aware, Ganta had been a local community where most of those who lived here before didn't care much about putting cornerstones and things to demarcate and know their common boundary. Most of them lived as one family people and then lived side by side. When the war was over, Ganta got completely burned down, and people coming after the war decided to do development. By the time, they could not clearly identify boundary, most of them, and they built it randomly. So as the result, those who came later on could not find anywhere to settle. And then the issue of finding your own place before you do development became a very serious trouble. So most of those who have been building here, who have been living here, have had a continuous conflict where some of them at certain point threatening to even fight each other. At certain point, people even took cutlasses against one another. And the president of Liberia, Madam Ellen Salih, saw reason to sit together with the people of Nimba to find a way out. And during the process, the president constituted two different presidential commissions. The first commission was being headed by the former Minister of Internal Affairs, Honorable Johnson, who documented most of the trouble spots in the county. but could not complete the process until the tenure for that commission elapsed. So then, followed by another commission that was being constituted by the president, headed by Mr. How you call it? I will call his name, who is now the president for. The president for the Federation of Football for Liberia. So this committee, this presidential commission worked in Liberia, in Nima County, and then was able to complete the process that the former commission started and could not complete. So they documented all the cases. For Ganta N, the presidential commission was able to document about 230 cases that it means those who appear before the commission, and that commission was being headed by Musa Beriti. This commission was able to make a comprehensive report to the president of Liberia, telling the president clearly how many cases they have received. And during the process of the hearing in Nima, they were able to sit with people across the divide, both those who were claiming the properties and those who were occupying the properties. So they put those people into two categories, claimants and respondents. And at a certain point, somebody who is living on the land currently will say, look, for me, I prefer taking compensation to leave because I know this land is not mine. I prefer taking compensation to leave. At a certain point, for compromise sake, another person will say, look, although I have the land, but since it's been developed by my friend or my brother, there's no way I'm getting out. Let me get a compensation and get another place to transfer. So that have been the condition. And after the work of the commission, when the report was being submitted to the president of Liberia, in the report, the commission also recommended that the market spot in Ganta that have been the center of the conflict, the president should exercise eminent domain so that that particular place can serve as a public installation where the government and the people of Nimba County or Ganta City can construct any development project that will impact the life of the general community. So the president on July 26, 2010, exercised eminent domain over this marketplace, and today is for the market. Although the market has not been able to transfer, currently as I speak to you, the president is now constructing the market in Ganta where the market will be transferred, and then the people of Ganta City will be sitting together to see what can be done on this land that will impact the life of the general community. So right now, on the 22nd of July, the committee headed by the Deputy Minister of Internal Affairs on the Vani Israelis came to Ganta and then commenced the payment, the final payment. Right now, as I speak to you, the amount of a little above $27 million LV was paid in Ganta to both claimants and respondents. And the period of 90 days was being given to some people based on the compromise. Some people were giving a little more than that. And then you have the balance of 33 cases where most of the people did not turn out apparently because of distances, because now it's a farming season in our country, and most of the people have gone back in the interior to do their farming work. So most of them were not present at the time of the payment. But right now they continue to pull in Monrovia to get the money to come back in the country and see how they can transfer. So the final payment is being done. Few checks are still remaining, and at the Ministry of Internal Affairs, where the people are going and receiving their check to come back in the country to get adjusted before they can do the shifting. So that's what is currently going on in the city concerning the final payment. And so most of the people, like I said, have reached a compromise to let their brother live on the land, and they found another place to go. In some instances, some of the people are saying, look, since for me, I know that my brother lives this place, he lives here and he owns this property, there's no need I stay here perpetually. I would prefer finding another place where me and my family can go and live in perpetual peace. So this way, they receive the compensation and then given 90 days to transition before the other person can take over the property. There are some instances where 2-3 persons are claiming one spot, and then you have a respondent or an occupant of that particular land. This way, the occupant is receiving the compensation, where at the later time, the government will be able to investigate to see who is the legal owner of that particular property before the turnover process can be done. So those are the categories of the cases in Ganta, and that's the way the payment has gone.
Okay. Okay, Mayor, thank you. Before you move on to the next subject, which is the West Africa regional power supply that is to come our way pretty soon. You've said a lot there, in a relatively short period of time with respect to the land dispute thing. I'd like to begin with a few questions. And by the way, folks, your question lines are open. That is the Mayor of Ganta City, Honorable D.DORR Cooper. So if you have any question, comment, or concern based on what you've heard so far, by all means, please dial *61 on your phone, and we'll get your question over to him. Mayor, I'd like to start by asking, so the government of Liberia, Madam Ellie Johnson Sirleaf, declared eminent domain, for an area where the market will be constructed soon. So my first question has to do with the government has eminent domain power, we all know that, but the people who were claiming those areas, or the people who own the area that the government declared eminent domain power on, were those people justly compensated? That's one question. And the second question is, what role has your office, the office of the mayor, has been playing in this whole thing here? Because I heard you say someone came from Internal Affairs Ministry, along with possibly members of the disbanded Land Commission, people. So what role are you playing?
Well, to answer your first question, I didn't say that the market is about to be built on the place that the president has eminent domain. This particular spot is where the president said the people of Ganta should identify a project that they think can impact the life of the general community. So the market that has been constructed in Ganta, there's a new location that we identify where the market building, the market construction is currently going on. So it's not on that particular disputed spot. Now, in terms of what role the city government has been playing, it is our statutory responsibility to provide oversight and to guide the process. The fact that we administer the affairs of the city. So our own role is not to take responsibility of what is happening, because they wanted that to be independently done so as to avoid people suspecting maybe the city government, like the mayor that has succeeded was being accused of being giving squatter right to people, which of course was part of the conflict. So on the basis of that, the government has deemed it necessary to get the city government play an advisory role instead of taking full responsibility. So our role is to play an advisory role in helping to identify those that are properly, evolved with the land, those that are residents of the city, most of whom are making a conflict, so that we can be able to identify the spot in question. So our role have been working side by side with the city government, with the Presidential Commission, as well as the citizens, to see most of their concerns, because most of them may not be able to access the members of the committee, but they are easily able to identify or to work with the city government. So that's the process that's the role we are playing.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your hard work. I expected to hear something like that. I know you're a very hard-working mayor. Now, let's take some callers for the night. Let's begin with 3861, 3861. Could you please tell us your name, where you're calling from, and your question for Mayor Cooper of Ganta City?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Moderator. My name is Harris Key, man. I reside in Minnesota. I want to thank the mayor for a job well done. I am not from Nevada, but I am concerned. And whatever they did in Ganta, I am sure we can transcend that to other parts of Liberia. So I just want to find out from the mayor if he and his team could be kind enough to let this process flow, because I'm hearing about land issue in the Ganta area, and that's the most especially in the Monrovia area. So, Mr. Mayor, I want to thank you for the job well done, and I hope you guys can be helpful using the same strategies that you use in Ganta. And if it works for Ganta, it can work for Slipway, Neutral Town, whatever it is. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Harris.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mayor, that was just a request comment. So, if you care to add to that, or just go on. Oh, I just clicked my desk.
Okay.
Whoever was waiting in the queue to ask question, I just mistakenly clear your line. Please dial *61 again, and I will get to you. *61, please. I think it was a 612 number. Mayor, before I take the next caller here, let me ask you, the model that's being used in Ganta right now, like our last caller says, no doubt, if it's working, I guess why not? Why don't we use it? But personally, I have concern about it. Here's my concern. God forbid, we hope and pray that we don't go back to those days, the things that led to the very issues of land dispute and whatnot. But what we see here, all this compensation, even though you say it's happening as a result of mutual, agreement between parties competing for land. But I can see a situation where, God forbid, if we have another situation, ugly situation in Liberia, where more people now than ever will rush up to cities or places and occupy places in hope of being compensated at some point in time, don't you?
What what is happening? This is not only the issue of the war coming and people destroying properties, even the issue of the road building. Right now, there are places in Liberia, even in Ganta itself, where people built in the right of way. And to get it out, instead of having a situation where you try to solve problem and create another problem, it's reasonable for government to try and make sure, because realizing that we have just come from out of 14 years war, and to get people out through the means of force or maybe court order is good. But again, you're going to be setting people into the street, and then the lotto, and then you have criminal rates and other, you scatter chicken all in the street. So that's why the government is seeing reason to ensure that people can be compensated to find another, shelter, because we know that it is a bad precedent actually. But again, there's no way that we can go around it, because instead of sending people into the street and settle another group of people, it's just reasonable enough to settle the both parties, then to put people in the street and then resettle another group of people if you are out for reconciliation and peace. So that's one of the reconciliatory aspect of our struggle right now. So we are intending to ensure that everybody can be comfortable with the process and not to build hard feeling in certain group of people and then satisfy one group of people. And we know that these things happen as a result of the war.
Okay. Thank you. I think I'll have to agree with the first caller recommendation then, because we also know that the same government that is compensating people in Ganta land dispute is the same government through the court system, have sent bulldozers all across Monrovia to, break down people's homes. People are being thrown out of their houses, particularly around ELWA area and parts of Monrovia, without any such, mutual understanding. So it's the same government. But I see your point here. Let's take some more calls. I got too many calls piling up. 2843-2843. Please tell us your name, where you calling from, and your question for Mayor Cooper of Ganta. 2843.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah,
your name, where you calling from, and your question. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Ansumana from Minnesota, first thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Honorable Cooper.
Yes.
Yeah, this is Ansumana M. Keita. Yeah, talking about the Ganta issue. Since 2007, we can count it from there, 2007, 2008, 2009, up to now, there's no actual result talking about this Ganta land issue. So I don't know which are the committee that actually really want to go on the true side, not on the fallacy, by saying different things to the president or by saying different things to Ganta people. This land issue is not something that people should just come and say something. I was born in Ganta, grew in Ganta, did everything in Ganta. The market area people are talking about, there where Ganta was founded those days when they took Ganta from Bala. Coimpa, Napa, Zopa, those areas were from Liberia. But because of the demarcation line, they left on the Guinea side. So they brought the market from Bala to Ganta because people were going Bala to go and do a lot of things, but they brought in Ganta. But those areas people are talking about the market area, there where Ganta was founded by Alhaji Mamadi Keita, by the other group, the Kurma, the other group from Manasa, the other group from the Madingo side. I come in now, I'm just saying something. So it's just confusing me, that market area. These are now strange people that were living there. I was living there. It's not even a matter of the D. The neighbor that live in that market area, we knew each other. The D can come, but if you come to reality, the D is there. But we don't even want to argue on that.
Hold on. I don't want to close your line. Hold on. Apparently, you have not been following it. I don't know when he came on board. The mayor alluded to that he understands that people live side by side without demarcation. Okay, hurry up with the question.
I come in. Secondly, I don't know what actually government really want to do about this land personally now, because you're talking about eminent domain, this, that, talking about the compensation. What's the actual development about the area now? The market is not there. The market has been transferred to another place. So I don't know what government is trying to do now, personally now, as a major.
Okay. So you want to know what the government is trying to do right now, right? Okay, thank you. Mayor, I know it sounds repetitive, but if you want to go over that briefly, that's it. Sometimes we got callers coming at a different time, and I'll do the best I can to restate some of the things you've said before. But the last caller wants to know what is the government trying to do about it now in the light of us discussing final payments being done and people being compensated and relocated. Could you briefly go over that quickly, Mayor?
Well, like I indicated, the government is not planning anything to do on the spot. I think the president gave us the responsibility as a people that since the process is intended to provide the forum for Liberians, for Ganta citizens to sit together and reasonably arrive at something that can impact the life of the general public, we now as a people should be able to sit together. But the reason the process has been dragging is since the payment was not done, and for us to be able to come down with the listing of those who claim to have been the owners of that particular spot, apparently the government is going to give compensation to those who own the place, and then the people of the city will be arriving at something that can do there to impact the life of the general community. So it's not going to be the central government, the national government, deciding what to do on the land, but it's going to be the people of the city. So that's why the president said on July 26, 2010. So it's people of the city are going to arrive at something to do there.
Okay. I see the last caller point in partner now that you've elaborated. So basically, it's going to be your government, the city government, working along with the people of Ganta, deciding what is going to be a recreational park or whatever. Okay. Folks, a good number of you just joined us, and I'd like to welcome you to the Liberian Diaspora Forum Weekly Talk Show. Tonight, we are very privileged, very much privileged to have the mayor of Ganta City join us live from Ganta to talk about issues happening in Ganta, including the land dispute settlement and all of that. So if you have any question, comment, or concern, by all means, please dial *61 on your phone, and I'll take your question over here for the mayor. Let's take another caller. 6929 6929, Philadelphia area code. 6929. Could you please tell us your name, where you're calling from, and your question for Mayor Cooper? 6929.
Well, afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing great, sir.
All right. My name is Clarence Gono. I'm actually from City Philly, but I live in Philadelphia. Thank you.
Oh, Mr. Gono, yeah.
Yeah, my question is, does the government of Liberia have any plan to build project homes for people who don't have places to stay? Just in case, for instance, you have that kind of land dispute where people have to be moved. Does the government have that plan to build project homes?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gono. Mayor?
Yes?
Yeah. Does the government of Liberia...
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Have what? I didn't hear the question clear.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Gono, go ahead. Restate your question, please.
Yeah, I was asking whether the government of Liberia, whether the government has any plan to build a fragile homes for people who don't have anywhere to stay at all. For instance, people who are occupying other people's land in Liberia. Or for instance, if there's a dispute and that dispute comes to a resolution, means that people have to move. Where do you carry those people? Even if you give them compensation, which maybe physically may not be enough, whether the government has any kind of plan to just say, okay, we're building a number of homes here and we'll just move people there, just in case, instead of even giving people cash. But the government has a plan for that.
All right. So does the government of Liberia has any plan to build project homes, where people can be moved to on a temporary basis?
Well, not to overstep my authority as a mayor, I wouldn't want to speak for the government of Liberia entirely. And I can't say squarely as to whether the government of Liberia is having a plan to do that, but I think the challenges in our country are enormous. We have the challenge of roads, we have the challenge of school, we have the challenge of health, we have the challenge of many, many things. So to think about government having a plan right now to construct homes for such a situation, I don't know, but I think the chances would be very slim. But I think basically what the government is doing is to make sure that since we all have been plunged into this situation, how can the government be of help to make some intervention so as to make sure that at least we transition for another group of, for our friends and brothers to find way to settle. I think that's the process that the government is on. But I can't say squarely as to whether the national government is thinking about something that I haven't been told. So I don't want to speak for the office of the president or the government of Liberia entirely, which of course I don't have that authority.
Thank you. That brings us to a question caller for 5728-5728. Your name, where you calling from, and your question for Mayor Cooper.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Good evening, Mr. Cooper, City Mayor.
Thank you. How are you, my brother?
Fine. I follow your leadership trend over the years. Sorry, I got on a little bit late, but if I just ask you a question that you earlier answered, forgive me for that. But I think I overhear you talking about your predecessor, their involvement in the land issue where they went and issued permits to people legitimizing their occupancy on land, making them part of the country. That I really, really appreciate. That's true about it. But my question comes, I'm from Ganta as well. I think you're not too. And in the DIASPORA area there, I have a land that I inherited from my father. And two of the areas are in a similar situation. One of them was renting from me, and the house got broken down as a result of the war. And this tender went and built on that same spot he was renting. And now he's asking to buy that land because he's been there ever so long, according to him. And his claim is he did not just do it, he obtained people from the city mayor office, just what you alluded to first. So such a situation, and another one is in DIASPORA. One of your staff in your office there is old man Meyer, and he knows about the land very well. He went and built there, and he's claiming now that since he has invested on that land, he built structure there, therefore he should own it, or I should compromise with him. And my question now, since we wasn't there when ID card and so on was issued from the beginning, and the compensation went on, how can such a person like my situation, where ID card was not issued to me, but yet I have, even though mine is clear, they're not going to say this because I have a D and we know one another from the past. They did it, intentionally. Without having an ID card, and they're claiming that they got authority to build there, how can my situation be addressed according to the respect to the compensation and so on?
BT, hold on here. I think we lost the mayor. see the mayor.
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right, there you go.
I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. All right, he's here. Go ahead.
Did you get a question, or you want some clarity?
Yeah, I got the question. No, I got the question.
Oh,
okay. Thank you.
Please address the search there.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, but did I hear you say Mr. Myers?
Let me open this line. Yeah, did mention
Mr. Meyer. Omer Meyer. He's one of your staff, because when I went Ganta, at the beginning of this year, I met him. Twice I met him. I went to the sale mail office. I met him there also. Yeah, I think you know him.
What?
Living Jacob in there.
Well, I think maybe you missed the name because there is no Myers working with the city corporation. But let me just get to your question. What is happening is what the former mayor did. The former mayor took over during the heat of the war, right after the 2003 war in Ganta. And then, according to the justification they gave, it was that the whole city was grown up and they needed people to clean the city. So they were allowing people to build, and people went to them for squatters' right. They gave them squatters' right. And then, but it was not out of any bad intention. But now, when the commission came and realized that it was one of the contributing factors to the land conflict, the government of Liberia immediately revoked the squatters' right, giving the people, and the mayor, the former mayor at the time, wrote and announced to the public that the squatters' right given them had been revoked, and so whoever property that they were occupying must be turned over to the rightful owner. So our own role have been, since I took over, what I've done, it's even difficult now for anybody to encroach on another person's property in Ganta because there's a regulation that we put in place. Before you do construction in Ganta, you must do a survey. And before you do the survey, you must obtain a permit from the city corporation. And no surveyor comes to Ganta to do survey without reaching our office. So right now, there's no way that anybody can just do construction in Ganta on somebody's land. So we are in full control, and we have managed to minimize the issue of land conflict in Ganta. So the question of how can you get your land back, I don't know. Like you just gave me one side of the story. I will encourage you, if you have any relative of yours in Liberia and in Ganta, to get the relative to come to my office tomorrow or day after tomorrow, identify the individual you talk about, the individual will be summoned, and we will inquire to know what is happening. If there is a property, we are going to prevail on the person to find a way to find another place to move and give you a place, or there will be a compromise that can be reached. That I can assure you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Cooper. We will take a follow-up call from Mr. Keita here in Austin. But before doing so, Mayor, so as of today's date, what percentage of this settlement payment, has been completed, and what's left? I know you kind of mentioned something like that in your intro. What's left? How far will you have to go? And then we also understand that it's not only Ganta that this process is also taking place in some other parts of Nimba, including Bao. And so can you confirm? Even though I know you don't live in Bao, all of that, but I know you have some ideas to where else is happening and what's left to be completed. Where are we in the process right now, Mayor?
Well, I think initially we have had the land dispute in Secretary, in Ban, in Tapet, in Ban, in Senikole, and in Kapley. And last year, when the first payment was done, the committee was able to work in the Senikole area, they work in Kapley, and they work in Secretary. So it was only Ganta and Ban that were left. So this round of pavement started in Ban on the 19th. So they started in Ban and then they completed Ban on the 20th and then moved to Ganta on the 21st. So the pavement actually started in Ganta on the 22nd, 23rd. And then we were able, like I said, we have 230 cases from Ganta. So out of the 230 cases, the committee was able to pay 180 persons and balance of 33. So the territory checks were being taken back to Monrovia, and as I speak to you, payment continues in Monrovia. When some of the people even come from Monrovia, they come to me and say, Mayor, we just came from Monrovia, we have received our money, we're trying to find a place to transfer. So that is what is ongoing.
Okay. Thank you. Well, it looks like the process is working very smoothly. Let me take a follow-up call from Mr. Keita earlier. Mr. Keita, please keep it brief and straight to the point. Welcome back to the Liberian Diaspora Forum. Your follow-up question, sir.
Hello?
Hello, yeah.
Yeah, pertaining about my question to the major again, I really want to know what actually government is doing now on the Ganta issue, pertaining about the market, the old marketplace. Now, he said that the market is not there. They transfer the market to another place. And he talked about eminent domain. And we live there. Especially me, I'm from there. That place is mine. So I don't know what government is trying to do about that land because I have to come back and pay. He's saying that government have to, the people of Ganta have to sit down and discuss and do one or two things on that land. I don't even understand what they're trying to do on that land. That land is belong to my grandfather. So I don't know what government planning or what the people of Ganta planning to do on that land. I don't know. I really want the major to clarify that down. What is their development? Give it back to us or to do different things on that land.
Okay. All right. I'll let the mayor respond here, but after, if it helps, maybe at the end of this show, we can make arrangement where you and the mayor can have some personal contact. But apparently, it's the duration of this show. I don't know if you can accommodate that. But mayor, go ahead. You heard the question, so please address yourself to that, sir.
Well, in line with our laws, when an eminent domain is exercised, what happens is people who own the property are compensated by the authority. So, and the issue of what the governor of Liberia is thinking about doing, I think I addressed that initially. I said it is not the central government who is going to decide on what to do on the land. It is the state government, along with the citizens of the city, who will identify what to do on the land. So, and in the president's message, she was clear on that whatever that the people of Ganta will want to do on the land should impact the life of the general community. So it means it's not going to be used for public property or it's not going to be used for anything that can impact one's life. It's going to be things that will be impacting the life of the general community. So, but we have to be able to reach a point or a consensus on what to do on the land.
Okay. Thank you. And like I said, Mr. Keita, you are always welcome to make follow-up call, but if it helps, maybe we can establish a link between you and the mayor so you two can have a lot more detailed discussion about that. Folks, some of you just joining us, and I'd like to welcome you to the Liberian Diaspora Forum Weekly Talk Show. Tonight we have the Honorable Mayor of Ganta City, Honorable D.DORR Cooper, Mayor of Ganta City. So we are at the question and answer period, at least for the land dispute part. So if you have any question, comment, or concern, please dial *61 on your phone. I will take your question over here and get it to the mayor. Mayor, let me ask you a totally different kind of question, not land dispute. As you know, some of your lawmakers have been on this show. Representative D.DORR, I hope I'm saying his name right, he's been on the show twice. Just as you are doing your second appearance for us today, and Senator Groupie, your junior senator, has also been here. Now, when Representative D.DORR came on this show, both times, he expressed serious frustration with the finance minister for him now giving NIMBA as a whole, not just Ganta, giving NIMBA the developmental fund that Ganta is entitled to. He argued that given the size of Ganta, NIMBA, compared with some other counties in Liberia, that Ganta ought to get more money than the finance minister has been allocating. Interestingly, we had the privilege of hosting the same finance minister last week, Thursday, and then one caller brought that question up. Among the many reasons the finance minister gave for Ganta, NIMBA not getting all of the fund that she ought to get has to do with the idea that there's this discussion going on between some residents of NIMBA County, mainly the Gio and Mano, that are contemplating on dividing the county between the two tribes. They want to divide Ganta, Nimba, sorry, I keep saying Ganta. They want to divide Nimba into 2 different counties. Now, my first question is, do you know anything about that? And if you do, how is that working out, Mayor?
Well, I think the issue of why Nimba is getting a little is all of us concerned. I think the finance minister needed to tell the people of Liberia and the people of Nimba more reasons than the reason you're giving me. I think the reason might be a little cheap. What is happening is, if you compare the population of Nimba with that of Grand Crew, Nimba County is having a population of over 400, pretty close to 500,000 persons. Grand Crew County is having a population of 26,000 and having 36 cities. If you look at what is happening, and you know that in our country today, Nimba, as big as Nimba is, Nimba has about 6 cities. In Grand Crew, you get 36 cities. And in total, Liberia has the total cities of 149. And if you check the population of Liberia, Nimba constitutes almost 50% of the population. So there's no way that you can look at Nimba and give them the same amount that you give to Grand Crew. Grand Crew is having the population of 26,000. Yet still you give Nimba annually 200,000, and you give Grand Crew the same 200,000. I think this is so unjustifiable. So for the minister to say, or it is because the people of Nimba, most of the people who have been calling on the radio talk show and calling for the division of Nimba, that's one of the reasons they have said. They say if Nimba can be given 200,000 by virtue of our population size, and you give Grand Crew the same amount, then there's reason to segment the county and make it more so as to create more burden on the government, because the government is not saying reason to allot more money to Nimba. And I think development should be driven by population. But I think right now the development agenda of our country is more or less driven by I don't know, what are they checking? But I think there is reason for the government and the minister to see reason to give Nimba more money. Right now, we have 6 cities in Nimba, and all of what we do that through our own effort. There's no money squarely put into any city in our country. So if you have about 36 cities in Grand Crew, and Grand Crew has a population of 26,000, and you give Grand Crew, so the 36 cities, if you check the employees, it's almost like all the people in Grand Crew are employed with government. So if you check the payroll alone for Grand Crew, it's more than the payroll of Nimba County. So you cannot attribute that to people calling for the division of Nimba. That's why more money is not given to Nimba. I think the excuse is so poor.
Okay. Just for the record, though, that was just one of many justifications he gave. It wasn't the only one, just for the record. Since we are still on the minister, since I brought out the minister, I think this might be a perfect time to jump into another point that the minister alluded to, which is this West Africa regional power pool that he was so much proud of as part of the Ellen Johnson's government soon-to-be accomplishment. That pretty soon counties like Nimba, in the whole of Nimba and other counties along that line will be power through some regional enrichment from Ivory Coast and all of that. I know he did talk about it at length. I'm even told that he had a video of men working along that line, doing some real work, making sure that things happen. I wasn't privileged to see the video. But so, and you as I mentioned that the same time the minister was here last week, Sunday, when I spoke to you. So why don't can you tell us a little more about that? How is that enrichment working, and how is that likely to benefit the people of Ganta, the people of Nimba County, and perhaps the people of Liberia as a whole?
Well, Nimba have been in darkness since the war, and the coming of the West Africa power pool is really a pride to the country. Right now, the testing process is on. The electricity reached Ganta somewhere on the 24th of July, and since the 24th, the testing process has been on. It actually comes on in the evening hours up to morning hours, and then it's basically still along the main streets. They haven't been able to go to the communities. Right now, as I speak to you, the plenty of the posts into communities continue. So the workers are now moving from one community to another with the plenty of the posts. And They have extended all the way to Secretary. I think the connection is not done yet to give electricity to Secretary, but in between, the work is going on. And this is one thing that we have as a county right now to boast up, that we are proud to have electricity in our county. And we think that with the coming of electricity in our county is going to increase the economic activities, is going to add value to most of what we've been doing here, and it's going to reduce the burden on the basic people, because right now, to run a private generator in a mountain is very costly. So if you are running a target generator and maybe burning 2 gallons per night, if you check the 2 gallons per 30 days, you are burning something like 60 gallons. And if you check it for even $300, it's so huge. And how much do you do to really get profit at the end of the month? So this is the major challenge. And the coming of the electricity is going to reduce the burden on the shoulder of our business community, and it's going to add value to the businesses that our people are doing. And in fact, it's going to encourage other people to move into our cities to invest.
Okay. Yeah, well, that's good to know. I mean, definitely, electricity has got to be the engine of economic productivity. That's really good to know that there's electricity in Ganta right now, but maybe soon to be extended in the communities. We are very delighted to know that. So, folks, there you go. That's an additional topic to the land dispute issue, and a very good number of you here now. So if you have any question, comment, or concern, as always, please dial *61 on your phone, and I'll take your question over to the mayor, or you can text your question to me. Not added that earlier, 612-203-3820. Having said that, let me take a follow-up call from Mr. Trawale, Bangali Trawale, who spoke not that long ago. Mr. Trawale, welcome back to the Liberian Diaspora Forum. Your follow-up question, sir.
Oh, thank you again. Mr. Mayor Cooper, thank you very much. I think you answered my question very well, and I will be sending my brother to your office, and I know you will do well to, satisfy our curiosity. But I'm also glad to know that electricity is in my city now. I mean, that city is productive. Having electricity there means a lot for the economic growth of that county, or the city as well as the county. But I just want to throw light on the question the moderator gave concerning the developmental fund that, you just spoke very well of. I think you are right to say the county is being at the verge of being divided. Give reason for government, national government, to say we cannot give Nima County more. I think it's very cheap. You said that very well. I must say I don't buy that. But here's what I know. Perhaps the moderator did not catch that. I listened to the finance minister. One of the reasons he gave was Nima County and other productive counties in Liberia, knowing their productivity, know their capability as compared to other remote counties. It was a strategy to attract residents of those counties that are pretty much low in productivity. As a result of the war, most of them, the Grand Crew, refugees, they are all in Monrovia. So there should be some incentive, some strategy to draw these people, to bring them back to their country. Therefore, give them, in as much no one is there, give the country some attractive funds so they can create some employment opportunity to attract the people to come back. That was some strategy, and that is something they are debating with the Parliament. And I know, being a resident of the United States, we see some of these strategies where federal government funds some states that are non-productive as compared to some states that generate more money on their own. They do a lot of things on their own as compared to what federal government gives. So you were trying to give that balance from his explanation the other day, and the moderator did not catch that. So that's some of the reasons, but I think it's worth engaging them. Let us know really why smaller counties should be equipped to a bigger county in terms of government or development funding. So I just want to throw that there so we all know that.
Okay, well, I did catch that, sir. For your information, I did catch that. And that's why I said for the record that the issue of the county being divided as one of the justification for the county not getting its much needed fund was one of the reasons stated. So what you said was another reason, and what I said was another reason. So I didn't mention all of the reasons, but I caught that very well. But I chose to highlight the part that seemed not very strong to me, to the mayor. So, but thanks for your clarification. We'll take call from 8251. Oh, sorry, Mayor, do you care to add to the comment from our last caller before we take the next question here?
Well, I think the reason he gave, this is a debatable matter. I know that in order for you to create jobs in other countries that are less fortunate in terms of having the capacity to develop themselves, to do that, to give help to those countries should not be at the detriment of other countries. I think this is where the point is. If the government of Liberia decide to fund a country based on their weakness, it's no problem. But what we're saying is, if you give Nima County 200,000 and you give Grand Crew 200,000, or let's say Grand Gide or Grand Crew is having how many districts? Nima is having 17 administrative districts. So if you give Nima County or 200,000 and you divide it, because that's the standard the government has, that the money should not be put together to be used in one place, but rather to impact all the communities. So right now, the 17 administrative districts of the county will be dividing the money. And so if you divide the 200,000 by 17, look at how much you're going to reverse at. And that amount is not able to undertake any sustainable or meaningful development. So most of what people have been doing here have been substandard buildings that have been put in. Even if they are building a male welfare home, it doesn't last. It's not any sustainable project. So you cannot use $17,000, $16,000 to do any sustainable project. So this is where the problem is. So we are not saying we stand against that, but if you want to do that, be fair to the other country too that is having the potential. So you cannot do that at the detriment of the other country. This is where we have the argument.
Okay. Fair argument. I agree. The part I agree with the most is the issue is debatable. So, and that debate needs to go on. I'll take a follow-up call from Mr. Harris, the gentleman who commended you earlier, and asked if the Ganta model can be replicated in other parts of Liberia. Mr. Harris, welcome back to Liberian Diaspora Forum. Your follow-up question, comment, or concern, sir?
Thank you, sir. Again, Mr. Major, I'd like to address you as Brother Major because I've been in Liberia too long, and you sound from your voice, you sound like a young man who is very serious about development. And I hope when you shall have set the stage, the people of Nima will be smart enough to send you to the house to make some sound decisions for your county, and when your county benefits, other county benefits. Unfortunately for me, I'm from Grand Crew, and I feel very, very terrible about my place being so underdeveloped. Whatever the reasons are, I don't know. I'm not going anybody. But the Bible says, when thou art strong, strengthen thy brethren. And so, again, I want to appeal to you, the good work that you and maybe other mayors who team up together are doing. I hope the people from Grand Crew will see your work. You know, there are a lot of ways to learn. We learn out by watching somebody. They don't have to teach you directly, but if you watch them, you know, you can learn from what they do, and you develop your own situation. You know, I just want to commend you. You know, I'm a Liberian. When I come to Liberia, I got a child from Nima County. So Nima inspired me. You know, so I just want to commend you and people, and I say, God bless you. You guys continue to go work, because some of us been here too long. We want to come here. I want to come through Nima and see Letter City.
Okay.
All right?
Thank you, Mr.
So God bless you for the time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Obviously, Mr. Harris is a big fan. So you can can tell that by his tone of language. So I have no comment to be added to that. Let's take call from 8251, 8251. Your name, where you calling from, and your question for Mayor Cooper of Ganta City. 8251.
Thank you very much, Mr. Krumah. My name, Honorable Mayor, my name is Isiaka Sigbe from Dallas, Texas. And I am a citizen of Nimba.
Okay.
Nimba, born in Sanikole and raised in Ganta. So this is a very good occasion for me to be in contact with my mayor. Mr. Krumah, thank you for this show.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you. So my question is, first, I have two statements before I make my question. My first question is, from what Mr. Keita was saying, his land is not occupied anymore. And you saying that if a domain is established on a land, is the prerogative of citizens to decide on another citizen's land what to do with it? That does not make a lot of sense to me. If it's not occupied, the authority, neither the authority nor the citizens have any type of decision to make on that land because it's not occupied. It should belong to its owner, straight ahead. There should be no doubt on that. And my second question is, the fact that we are not receiving a lot of funds from the government, should that be a reason to divide our county, Nimba County? I think our strength is our population. So we should pressure them with reasons to get in their head so that they can allocate more money to us. But to divide us because we are not getting another money, that's going to weaken us. It's not going to strengthen us anymore. So that was a question that that was just a statement. These were two statements that I have.
Okay.
My question is now, I'm very proud of you for all the work that you're doing. You seem very sound and good. My question is about our unity. Before we left Liberia because of the war, we walked from Liberia to Guinea, and then we came down here. We were very united. The Manos, the Guios, and the Madingos were very united. What are you doing about our unity down there? That's what I'm concerned about. As an Nimbanian, I want to see that we want to go back to that time. Maybe I was younger then. We did not know the tension that were there. But we're seeing that with the work that you're doing, it has a propensity to bring a lot of disunity. So what are you doing? What are some of the precautions you have? Why these things are going on? Because I want to see us united. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Steven.
Thank you so much. But let me go back a little before I answer the question. Let me go back to the issue of the land. The idea of citizens sitting down together to decide on what to do on the land is not a decision of the city government. When an eminent domain is exercised over the land, it means the government has taken that particular land from the owner. That's why it means in our country. So the fact that the government has taken it place, it is the government that mandated that this land is now being taken from the owner and is to be used for development purpose that can impact the life of the people. So therefore, the people of Ganta should sit together to decide on what to do on the land. So it's not the mandate of the city government, but it was rather the mandate of the national government. That's one point I want to make. And then the second thing you talked about was the reason that people are giving. I'm not trying to justify on behalf of those who are calling for the division of the county or on the basis of that. I was just telling you some of the reasons that they are giving. That right now, pressurize the government must be legally done. And one way to do that is to lobby within the House to make sure that you can get the support of the House to allot budget for your county. And to do that, the argument should be, how can you do it? Because in the lower house in our county, we get 15 counties. Out of the 15 counties, you get 9 that are smaller, and you get 6 that are bigger. The 6 counties, by law, each county has 2 senators. So in the lower house, that is the House of Representatives, you can win a debate to allot more money to Lima County by virtue of our size and population. But when it gets to the Senate, each county is having 2 senators. So you have 9 smaller counties, and they have 18 senators. You have 6 big counties that get 12 senators. So there's no way that you can ever win a majority vote in the Senate to.
We just lost the mayor. The mayor line just dropped. So folks, please stay with us. He's very good at coming back. I know that his line just dropped for good this time. So the mayor will be joining us very quickly here, and as soon as he does, we will continue from where we left off. This might be just a good time for short break, so let's wait for the mayor here. Should be back.
They call me again.
You have a daily chance.
They call me again.
I own nothing. I want beating so what got more punishment for them. That Abe Masalene.
Mama. I'm not Bobo. The more competition, that's why I'm abrogating. But I can't tell you now how much they are competition. No clap. I clap the on there.
After every 6 years. Different phases, different platforms.
Okay. The mayor is here. The mayor is back with us. Mayor Cooper, are you back?
Yes, sorry, because of the network.
No. That's perfectly understandable. Actually, it happens longer than I thought. A lot of times, calling people from Liberia, we always experience that. So, thank you for coming back, and you may continue. So, go ahead from where you were.
Yes. So our lawmakers have been trying over the period of time to make sure that they can win voting in the Senate on that, and it's never possible because you have 18 senators who have the argument that look. Allotment in our country should be done on the basis of country and not on the basis of population. So that is just done, and there's no way that you can pressurize the national government to achieve that. So this is where we are. So to take you back to the issue of what are we doing on the issue of reconciliation, like I was telling you, anybody who is been in Liberia since since I took over 2009 will tell you the process that we have been driving in the city. In fact, the regulation to control the random city of land and to take over people's property in their absence that we have done is one way to promote reconciliation and peace. And our administration have been able to bring people from across the divide together to discuss together. That's one way we can break the barrier. So right now, our administration is continuously engaged in the community and making sure that our people come together and sit with us to discuss development activities of our county, to discuss development activities of our city, to discuss reconciliation in our city. So our idea is to bring everybody together, and we are taking a bold step in the first place to extend hand of friendship to people who are living in our city and even outside of the city, to say, look, whatever that went on during the war, whatever that went on after the war, whatever that I have done to you personally, please forgive me, and I wish that you can also turn to another citizen of Nima or another citizen of the city to say, I'm sorry, so all of us can forge ahead and develop our county and our city. So we are working hard and seriously to ensure that our people can come together, that we can sit together as one people, that we can put the past behind us and forge ahead as one country, as one people.
Okay. At least you have a plan. That's all right. Let's take our next caller here. 5500-5500. Your name, where you calling from, and your question for Mayor Cooper of Ganta City.
This is Jabatev from. One caller got my attention, and that caller was Mr. Golo from Pennsylvania. He was actually alluding to housing for those that do not have. And my proposal to the mayor is to set a mayor commission on creating housing for the people that do not have housing. And in fact, that includes those that were compensated and they have to move. If they don't have place to move, it will create more problems. So if you create your commission, what your commission needs to do is to draw out a plan and then submit that plan to the government. And that plan is to assist the government for creating peaceful means of people living together. And if you have that submitted, you can also submit that to the international community. They also want to help. So there are a lot of places where you can channel through your commission proposal for housing. We have never had a housing facility in Nima County where it is owned by the government and for the people. We have never had that before. So, and it would be one of those things that your government or your mayor, your city government would be proud of if you can get that accomplished. And it should be something that should be submitted to the legislature that they can look into. He asked a question, and the question was, whether are you going to be interested in building housing or project? In America, they call it project. Maybe in Liberia, they call it project. But that is what drew my attention to that. So you can actually start working on it, discussing with people how you can go about it, and you draw out a plan, draft out maybe a drawing of a building that will accommodate X amount of people, and send it to the president. The president should be able to consider that. That is something you need to do. You need to start working on.
Okay. Is that it? Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Do you care to add to that?
Well, no, I think it's really a good thing that we can look at, and all of us can work it together. Because we have been saying, my first appearance on the show, I call on all the Liberians that are living across the world who listen to our voice to see how they can get in touch with us to work together, because most of these things we cannot achieve them alone. And we need to get the expertise of people who have some understanding, basic understanding and knowledge in those areas to be able to guide us properly. But what I was telling him was that, in our country, it's a little difficult thing right now, because you know that we have a land conflict, and most of the places, even surrounding Ganta, are privately owned. And sometimes you have good intention. You say, look, I'd like to do this. Right? As I speak to you, there's a project that the government is trying to undertake in Ganta that is a city hall project. To even get a space to construct the city hall project to construct the city hall is now a difficult task. You cannot find space anywhere here. And the federal government is now in the business of land grabbing. If we do that, it's like instead of solving the existing problem, we'll be creating another one. So we are very careful in going around this thing so that we can be implicated into what is already ongoing in our county and in our city. So we're working on it gradually to ensure that the existing problems can be handled. So, but again, we all have to work on it together to see how can they best work in the interest of our country and our city. So we appreciate you for that, and we look forward to sharing the idea with us, and they should not be only the end to call on the phone. But at least we can, right after here, we can exchange number, that we can keep engaged to see how we can work that together.
Thank you. That's a good idea. Always willing to take suggestions. Otherwise, the concern they are raising there, unless government looks into doing something like that, it's going to be there's some serious potential for chaos, because you pay the man off, he vacates the house, and leave it for the appropriate family, and then they go blow up the money and don't have a place to stay still. They become public nuisance. Stay hanging out in the city, but now they are not what they used to be, and the money given to them has been misused or whatever. So I think it's something worth looking into, as you promised to do. We like you for that. Let's take a third follow-up question from Mr. Keita again. He's been waiting here for a long, long time. Apparently, it must got to be very, very so. Mr. Keita, welcome back to Liberian Diaspora Forum. Please keep your follow-up question brief. I got a lot of follow-up questions here. Mr. Keita, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Krumah, and thank you very much, Honorable Cooper. Yeah, you were still saying pertinent about the land issue, that the Ganta people will decide what to do with the land. But when you look at the normal day market, today is not for the Ganta people. Now they turn the market to the owner. The area is being used as LBDR bank now. So when you look at our area today, that Ganta people will decide what to do about the land, I don't know. It doesn't make no sense. Land that was there more than how many years? We've been there for so many years. Now Ganta supposed to decide on the land. Is it free land? There's no deed on the land? Or you guys ask, or we never produce any land and any deed about that land? Or is there an open place that people will decide what to do there? It's confusing me. Okay. There was a two market in Ganta. The market area where Thursday people used to go and buy dungafla and sell the other thing there. Used to use a Sunday market. Now it's been owned by the owner. Thing is one Dumba. He get the land now, and the normal day land is owned by the owner. Turn it over to LB there, and they paying them every month or every year. But think about our land, saying that Ganta people or other people decide, it's confusing me. It's not an open place. So I want you guys to look at it. We are doing extremely work. I will really commend you for that. I'm very happy to see a young man taking that kind of leave, moving the people on a real path. I hope I could be like you, but actually I want you to look at that as major. You are there to unify the people. You're on the central point. We are looking at you. When they say major, we don't consider people major in Africa. We consider it as someone in America because we are a major in America. We know how people can do development here. We know how they can do system. So we expect you to move Ganta forward.
Okay. So that's it. Thank you. So, Mayor, that's another recommendation that it is something that this scholar is very much passionate about, and rightly so, given the fact that he has probably historical tie to the land. So he wants you to look into it, even though eminent domain power is a little bit above your pay grade, but that's what he has to say. And if you have anything to add to that, you may do so now, or we move on to taking more questions.
Well, like you said, Mr. Kuman, I wish I've had this issue on my table or in my office for me to preside over. But again, this did not go this way. It went through the commission, and the Most Ability Commission made a recommendation. They did the work in NEMA, and that recommendation was being considered by the president. And the governor of Liberia exercised eminent domain. And the power of the president, I think you know the country. Our country is so centralized, and the power of the president is so heavy that which I cannot undo the work of the president. So I think I listen to his concern, but unfortunately, the power that is taking the decision is so heavy that, or if there's any recommendation that we can make, it should be a consensus reached by the people of Nema or by the people of the city. And like the president have thrown this in our court and said, look, you decide on what to do on the land. Either if it is a consensus that, look, we cannot do anything that will impact the life of the community, but we'll go back to the president and say, look, we're going to divide the land individually. That's another way that we can go around it. But to say I should undo the thing that the president has done, I mean, it's quite not workable. I think this is where we have the problem. But if this had been within my jurisdiction, I would have anyway to address his concern.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Keita, you heard the mayor, right? And like I said sometimes today, even though it's well beyond the mayor's pay grade, but I think it'll be a good thing for you two to open a line of communication. And the mayor has indicated to me that he's willing to provide his contact number to anybody here, who wishes to, recommend, suggest, or partner with the city. So I suggest we do so. Let's take a new caller here, and then I got some follow-up callers waiting. Let's take the new call from 1963, 1963. Your name, where you calling from, and your question for the Honorable Mayor of Ganta City, Honorable D.DORR Cooper. 1963.
Hello. Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor. My name is Harold Donzo. I'm calling from Plymouth, Minnesota. My question has to do with the land issues in Ganta. I was born and raised in Ganta. In fact, my dad was the grand imam of Ganta Mosque. I understand from my relative living in Ganta, saying that our land has been occupied. There have been a building built on the land by some newcomer. Now, I talked to my brother the other day whether he was aware of the process the government was doing to ensure that we get our land. And he said, yeah, he heard about it, but he told me that the information he received is people that have been giving his numbers or something that IDs, people that have ID are the ones that currently getting the benefit that the government is doing. So I wonder, with regard to us that do not have any documentation at this time, basically it has to do with the time we left the country. We was unable to collect the dues and anything like that. So what process do you have in place for our family to get our land back? In addition to that, I must commend you that you have been a very strong advocate of people getting their land back. Everybody here in America commends you for taking a bold step. You speak on the issue. You continue to inform us. So I must commend you for that. But what are you actually doing in regard to the Donzo families getting their land back in Ganta? Thank you so much for coming to the Liberia Diaspora Forum. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Donzo. Thank you, Mr. Donzo. What we've been doing is, specifically, I don't know, your brother or your relative have not reached to my office to let me know, to tell me the spot that you talk about. But I think I will encourage you to get in to come to my office. Let's know the place to talk about and know the occupants. Right now, the process that the government is doing right now started since 2 years back, and people who were, it was not even based on the issue of documentation. It was based on people coming to register their cases that, look, this place belongs to me. Apparently, you may not have document, but you come and identify the spot and say, look, this spot is for me, and somebody else built here. You bring 2-3 persons from the community who are aware that, yes, indeed, you've been here before and you had a structure, you had this place before, because the Liberian people are aware that they walk in and destroy a lot of documents. There are a lot of things that got destroyed. But again, we haven't reached that level yet. What we have been doing have been to work as community people together, as brothers and sisters, to sit together to discuss. So most of those who have been meeting, who met before, and the commission worked with them, they now go through documentation. Most of them acknowledge, yes, I know that this person been here before, and I came and built here because he was not here. So since he's back, I've already developed the place, let him find another place, let him take the money, and then find another place. And that kind of consensus will be reached, and the owner of the spot is now benefiting to transition so that the person who has developed the land can stay in the spirit of brotherhood. And in some instances, some people say, look, for me, I don't want to stay here. I want to transition, so I'd like to receive the money so that I can transfer and for him to take his land. So it's not just on one side. It's on many sides. So those are ways that the process has been going, but this is not the end. What we are doing as a civil government is, even if the process is over, we are still working with people to make sure that we can accept one another to live as one people that we did before. So the process is still going on. We're working with the community people and working with each and everybody here to ensure that all of us can accommodate one another and have a beautiful city than what we had before.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor Cooper. Folks, if you're just joining us, and I know a considerable number of you have, I'd like to welcome you to the Liberian Diaspora Forum weekly talk show. I must add, though, that we only have 28 minutes left to go. We've been here since 4:30 today with the Honorable Mayor of Ganta City, Honorable D.DORR Cooper, discussing land dispute settlement issue, electricity in Ganta, many other developmental issues currently taking place in Ganta. Obviously, it's after 6 years in Liberia. It's got to be after 11 there by margin. So we were not keeping terribly long, much longer. So we got 27 minutes to go. After the show tonight, if you wish to listen to repeat broadcast, please dial 559 rather. 726-1299 and the same access code 908209. that will allow you access to repeat broadcasts of tonight's show, at least through the week until I can upload the audio on YouTube. As you know, his first appearance is on YouTube now. That's been there for a long time. And the Honorable Finance Minister's appearance has also been placed on YouTube for your listening pleasure. As far as next week, Sunday, we haven't decided yet. Councilor Vani Sherman spoke with him yesterday. He could be our guest next week, Sunday, but he has not confirmed. Kwame Clement may also be our guest. A renowned journalist from Liberia now wants to be president. He could be the guest. And all Representative Marima Fofana, whom I chatted with on Facebook today. So we haven't confirmed any one of those here, but we will let you know when we know. So we'll take a few follow-up questions here, and then we will probably run to, give the mayor time to, do closing remarks, unless more questions come up, and then we'll call it a night. But we got follow-up questions lined up here. Before I take before I start taking the follow-up questions, Mayor, quickly, we got about 80-85% of this land dispute completed, at least in Ganta City. Is that true for other places you mentioned too? Do you know, like Seklipe and Bound, as they going at the same rate? The issues are being done there without any yo-yo?
Well, I think the process started, like I said, it started last year in Campley and other places around other cities, and this last payment is being really done in Bound, Ganta, and I think few cases in Senegal. My understanding is there are some people who are not, or who are a little apprehensive, or I think there are few instances where most of the people are not present, and most of them, but I mean, those are all this year are not there to really verify the information, but I understood most of them were not present at the time the payment was taking place, and they had to follow to Monrovia to receive that payment.
Okay. So that brings me to the next question of what's the working relationship between mayors in Ganta, Nimba as a whole? What is all the cities in Nimba? Is there a working relationship between you and the rest of the mayor from other cities, or just everybody just do your own thing?
What we have a mayor's council, but what is happening is, that there is the farming season, and in Liberia now, most of the Nimba citizens are now heavily concentrated in the southeast, where the money go, they buying gold, they selling, and they are the major people now you see in the southeast that are really selling. So most of them are farming, most of them are going in the southeast to transact their businesses, so they will not be able, the committee was not able to meet them on ground. And so upon hearing the information, they are now passing and going, although the information was on the air, but you have a local radio station that does not reach any county besides the county, so it's just concentrating in the county, so you cannot get information going across the county. That's one of the reasons.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Let me take these follow-up questions. Actually, let me take these follow-up questions, and then we will get you out of here. You've been very kind, and we appreciate it. Let me start with Honorable Bagali Trawale. Mr. Trawale, welcome back to the Liberian Diaspora Forum. Your follow-up question, comment, or concern, sir.
Thank you. Not to bore the mayor or asking so many questions, but it's necessary to do so at times. Mayor, you really doing well. I commend you highly. But the issue of the land in the marketplace there, I think from all indication, it still sounds ambiguous to me by your explanation. You talk about eminent domain at one point, and quite frankly, you explain the laws surrounding eminent domain very well. I think we all know that. And you said the government had declared a place for eminent domain. And then the government does not have a definite project for that, and calling on the citizens to decide what should go there. And we know for sure, before government declares anywhere for eminent domain, there should be a desired need for a particular project that the government sees fit. How can the government declare a place eminent domain that does not have a plan for that particular place. We're seeing it all over Liberia. And then, my question now to you, Mr. Mayor, if the government has declared this place for eminent domain, has there been any negotiation with the landowner? Because that's what you said, and which is true. The government declare a place eminent domain, there should be a negotiation between government and the owner of that land will go on, whatever compensation so be it. Has the government, have that negotiation with owners of the land before declaring eminent domain? And how can your government declare eminent domain without knowing a project? Otherwise, I see ambiguity in this whole thing. Could you just comment on that, please? Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Although I'm not a legal practitioner, so I can't exactly tell you what is the law stand on that. But I think on the 26th of July 2010, when the president exercised eminent domain over the land, she encouraged those who claim ownership of the land to pack all their documents and submit it to the Ministry of Internal Affairs, where they're going to look at it and see the legitimacy and see how can the government address that. So this is not within, like I said, this is not within our power. This is far beyond us, and all that we have to do is our own role we have to play is what is given us by the president. That look, sit with your citizens and identify projects that can impact the life of the general community. And so the fact that the payment process in NEMA is not being completed, we didn't want to have the process hanging at the same time having meeting to identify what can be done on the land. So that's why we have been holding back. But the issue of whether government has negotiated or not is between those who claim the land and that of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. So they should be going to the Ministry of Internal Affairs with their documents and then negotiating with the minister on how much is going to be given to them as compensation, so that we are not in that picture. But I can clearly tell you that our own role is to sit with the people to identify projects that can impact the life of the people as being mandated by the president.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Jabata, New York, your follow-up question, comment, or concern quickly, sir.
Yeah. Well,
hello?
Yes.
Yeah, what is your follow-up question, comment, or concern?
Yes.
All right, I'll get to you later here, Mr. Jabata. Let me take a new caller here. 7583. Your name, where you calling from, and your question for Honorable Mayor Cooper.
Well, my name is Caleb Gonglo. I don't have a question for the mayor. I have all the recommendations.
Where are you calling from? Where are you calling from, sir?
I'm calling from Delaware County in Pennsylvania.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. What I have for the mayor is nothing but commendations, and I will have a general comment just by the way of adding maybe follow clarification to some of the issues we are grappling with in NIMBA and across Liberia. I happen to have worked in government of Liberia recently for almost 6 years, and I'm back here in the States. I just want to say to many of you guys who live here, and some of you been here for quite considerable number of time, you be mindful that when you come to discussion on Liberian government, do not have the same standard that you have here in the United States. Sometimes that's the confusion that people have. They discuss Liberian government issue using the standard that they understand in the United States. It lands yourself into confusion, and you get yourself angry almost every moment, because that's not how things are done. You know, that's not how the government. The city mayor is online. You can ask him. If you look in the national budget in NIMBA, I think probably only Sanungle may have budget. Maybe Ganta may be the next city, but Bam, Tapeta, all the other cities, they don't know. They can't play. They are city. They got city mayor appointed. They don't have budget land. You know, so at times we may expect we may think that just like you have cities in the United States and the mayors have this, they have that. First of all, you have just appointed council members. You don't even have elected council members for all of the cities across Liberia, including Monrovia. You know, so decision-making process is also a challenge as well. I mean, I know the city mayor of Ganta. I know he's a mobilizer. He's someone who like to reconcile people. So he goes out of his way beyond the city council to negotiate with other people. But let's have that basic fact that our country, for over a century, the government has never been structured the way we understand government to work. So if we come to discussion of this nature, let's say how are things done in Liberia, so we can discuss and interact with that person on the basis of how they operate. You know.
Okay. All right.
I mean, Ganta does not even have sanitation system. As a rapidly growing city that I know, Ganta has more than 70 schools. It's the next city in Monrovia with the highest number of schools next to Monrovia. They don't even have a sanitation system. I can tell you that. You know, okay. And all of you know.
Leave it there, Mr. Gonglo. Gotta leave it there. We shut the time here. Thank you, though. Yeah. Thank you for your contribution, Mr. Gonglo. Mayor, do you care to add to that, or just take these follow-up callers and get you out of here?
Well, I'd just like to say thank you to Mr. Gonglo. I think basically that's the point I was discussing when we were talking about the jurisdiction of the president out of the mayor. And sometimes it's difficult to understand when you try to make comparison with that of the United States. Then sometimes you get angry because the way the system works in America is not how it works in Liberia. Right here in our country, it's so difficult for myself being in America, and I saw mayors challenging the office of the president, and that's not the case here. So if the governor of Liberia is instructing the mayor to do this, it's so difficult that the mayor will have to say, look, I'll go my own way. So the authority given us by the government is what we exercise. So if the president is saying, look, this land is being taken by the central government, and all you need to do is, mayor, work with your people who have it clean to come to Monrovia with your document. I think the best we can do is to now engage the central government, those of us that are having clean, to engage the central government through the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and to see how we can now engage the government to see what can we get as compensation, or how can the government get back our land. But it's not at the level of the mayor, because it's so difficult for us to reverse the decision of the president.
Thank you. Folks, we got about 14 minutes left to go. It is my intention, as it was announced from the beginning of the show, we'll be getting out of here at 6:30, which should be, I believe, 11:30 in Liberia, since it's Sunday, and the mayor has to go to work first thing Monday morning. So there are a lot of you here, so if you haven't had a chance to say anything, this is the time to dial *61. We are really tight on time. I must add. So let me take these follow-up callers within the queue so we can get you out of here quickly, Mayor. Let's see if Jabate in New York is ready. Mr. Jabate, welcome back to the Liberian Diaspora Forum. Your follow-up question quickly, sir.
I think the government of Liberia prematurely in the country have decided to settle land dispute by payment, and after giving these payments to these people, the money is going to be invested for businesses and not in housing. And I'm going on record that it was done stupidly by the government and prematurely. And the same thing is going to happen in Monrovia. The same thing is going to happen all over the country. The government need to create more housing so that the people can be compensated with housing, not compensated with money. And that is my check on that. So the city mayor of Liberia need to really emphasize that. You have made a blunder. Not the city made it, but the commission have made a blunder, and they continue to make those blunders at the expense of the citizens. These things need to be discussed properly. They're talking about building City Hall. They're talking about putting structure everywhere, and there is hotel being built everywhere. But now there is no room for people to house people. They're talking about let's rebuild, take people from DORR. If you create the money it would take to remove the people and compensate the people, if you use our money and put complexes around the city, you will be able to take those people in. The whole idea is give them housing, give them water to drink in that housing, and our people will be able to survive.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. That's just a comment, right? So okay, all right. I got Yeah. So let me before I take these two follow-up caller, let me ask you. You see people talking about not making comparison between government of Liberia and the government here. That's true. But another issue that's been resonating so well with the Liberians in the diaspora here recently, at least as I follow some listserv from online media, something has to do with this issue of decentralization. And decentralization has been discussed in many ways, form or shape, by different guests on this show and other shows. So I guess my question to you with respect to decentralization is that will you be happier today if you as a mayor, had the power of generating your own revenue, if Liberia was decentralized in a way that you were elected as a mayor rather than be appointed, and that the city of Ganta had a cut, in revenue being generated in Ganta, and then the whole 9 year, the whole 9 year with respect to decentralization. Will you be happier if that was the case today? Would that have made you more productive than you are today, Mayor?
Well, I think for me, personally, I think it's something to carefully look at. We have to look at the benefits and the disbenefits. Sometimes people are thinking about when you are elected, you're going to have all the power, you're going to have the authority to do this. It's just one side of it. But the careful part of it that I have is the issue of marginalization, because if we are not careful, we are going to marginalize smaller tribes across the country. Let's take, for example, if you talk about local government at the level of the local governance, at the level of the local government, you're going to carry an election. In Nima County, for example, we have 5 major tribes. If you carry an election in our county, basically, it's not going to be on the basis of giving consideration to travel to exist in a county where you're going to say, look, I'm going to have maybe a gear man to be a superintendent. I'm going to have the Mano man to be the best superintendent. I'm going to have a Mandingo man to be county inspector. I'm going to have a B man to be. Once the election result says you become the winner, you are the winner. So in this case, if our focus will just be to give power to people, but then you are going to marginalize certain group of people, because predominantly those who have the population in the county will be those that will be elected. So it means you may have in Nima, you may have maybe Gio people in authority, also to Mano people in authority, also to Crown people in authority, also to B people in authority, depending on the number of people or depending on their population. So this is the effect that we're going to have. So it's not only going to be affecting one county, you're going to have the same situation in Lufa, you're going to have the same situation in other counties, the Sando, where the Kru people are more than the other tribes. So you may have Kru-dominated local officials of the county. So those are the careful parts of it that we have to take into consideration. But I feel that if I'm elected, I'm going to have all the power. I'm going to be making independent judgment. But again, we should look at the issue of tribal people that exist in the country as well, so that we can run into another trouble when we try to pass the hole, then we create another hole on the other side. So that's where, for me, I'll be carefully looking.
Thank you. That's a very serious point you just raised there. I don't think too many people have thought about that as we discuss this issue of decentralization. Yeah, I guess there are pros and cons to it. So, Mayor, it's about 6:23 here, probably 11:23 p.m. in Ganta City. I'm going to take, believe it or not, Mr. Keita has dominated my show. I'm just going to take his last comment, and then what I expect you to do. Shortly after what Mr. Keita has to say, I will, give you the floor to do your closing remark. And in that process, if you care, if Mr. Keita comment is something that needs to be addressed, then you can also possibly include that in your closing remark. I cannot thank you enough for honoring my invitation every single time I've invited you. So let me see what Mr. Keita, welcome back to the show. Your follow-up question or comment.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Kuma, again, once again. And Mr. Cooper, I'm very happy that we'll say a lot of things about NIMBA. It's about the development of NIMBA. It's about the feeling of NIMBA. We just want NIMBA to move forward. Not a matter of Ganta, but it's the NIMBAnians really want us to be someone. For the fact that when you look at the record of Liberia, we've been contributing a lot of things for Liberia, make Liberia to be one of the best countries in Africa. When you look at the agriculture sector with there, we look at a lot of things with there. But actually, the thing about Ganta, as a young man like you, I'm very happy. But I really want you to use your ideology to make us unify in Ganta. When we look at normal days, we know how Ganta will look like. We look at the soccer issue. We look at the social activity, like New Year, like Christmas Day, like Ramadan Day, Tabaski Day, all these things that we can think about. Hey, it make us to feel somehow embarrassing. We are not in Nimba those days. When New Year is coming, Christmas Day is coming, we are not there. It make us to feel some kind of way. But back to the issue, I don't want the government to think that they will compensate all or to do something about that land. That is taken from there. Secondly, the Gantonians, those from Ganta, they should clear that from their mind that we will sit down on round table, they will give us something to go away. No, that land is historical land. That land is historical land. That is look at that land and live it with us. Finally, I want your personal number that I will be able to get to you whatsoever that continue about Ganta. It's not about the land. Sometimes we need some contribution about Ganta. Those days we were at the University of Liberia. They took them the library in Ganta. I don't know how the library is going on now. The former president of the University Student Association, they took it. They did a library there those days when we were the junior student those days. So these are things we're looking at Ganta youth, we're looking at a lot of things. Maybe the land issue will come, but I want your personal number. Sometimes I have to know about Ganta issue. I have to contribute socially, whatsoever that will make Ganta to move forward.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Keita. I'm sure the mayor will appreciate your financial contribution to her. No, just kidding. Well, Mayor, you heard what will be my last caller for the night, and believe it or not, as I plan to, give you the floor to do your closing remark, that's when I'm getting all these new callers jumping here. But we're gonna stick to the plan. Folks, you just got here, and unfortunately, I will not be taking your questions because we've come to the end of tonight's show. It's 6:27, 11:27 p.m. in Liberia. The mayor been with us since 4:30 today. To his credit, he's one of our few guests that we didn't have to wait for, by much. So, and this is not the first time; it's the second time. So, Mayor Cooper, I cannot thank you enough. I'm so proud of you, a young man doing remarkable work that you are doing for the people of Ganta, the people of Nimba, and the people of Liberia. As per our discussion, I will always call on you when I need to. Keep in mind, when I call you this time, it wasn't my own desire. It was a call from the audience that they were eager to hear from you in the wake of the payment, ongoing payment in the land dispute issue. So it was their request. They do think about you. And so they reached out to me, and I told them I'll stay in contact with you. So I will give you the floor for your closing remark, and if it is okay with you, I will also share your personal number with Mr. Keita, if that's okay with you. So, Honorable Cooper, the floor is yours for your closing remarks, sir.
Let me say a very big thank you to you, Mr. Krumah, for affording me this opportunity to exchange with my brothers and sisters out there. I'm really inspired by the comments and everything that you said tonight. I think that happiness in the world does not come from the sky, and it comes through the hands. And the only way that NEMA and Ganta can move forward is if all of us can put our ideas together to see how we can develop these cities, how we can work together as a country. There are many things that are coming in the country right now, besides the electricity and the payment, the final payment to the occupants. There's also the road project that has just started between Banga and to Ganta main border, and the marking process is on right now as I speak to you. We completed a meeting yesterday in Ganta where we are taking 50 feet along the mayor center of the city. That means 50 feet right, 50 feet left. That is about 100 feet in the city center, and starting from somewhere around Meng Bay, going to Banga, towards Banga is about 75 feet right, 75 feet left. So the road is going to be a very wide road, and we hope that the paving process can start sometime in October. So right now there are many things that are coming into Nima County and into Ghana City as opportunities, and I think that all of us need to be a part of it. But we all need to put the data pass behind us and see how we can force ahead. The issue of Ganta, the construction of Ganta, or reconstruction of Ganta, is not only within the old spot that Ganta have had before. Anybody can buy any part of Ganta now and do major development, and yet still you're going to be a part of Ganta. You don't have to be in the old spot that they have been continuous conflict. So I would like to encourage all of us living inside, outside of Liberia to start thinking about how we can now build estates in Ganta in some communities that are newly developing. Like if you left Ganta so 5 years ago, reaching Ganta today, you're going to be shocked that most of your colleagues that have been here will tell you how speedy Ganta is growing. So we need to be a part of the process now to start to build, skyscrapers all over Ganta that you can own a private place, then just going to get into the midst of conflict with each other. So I think that all of us need to put a better path behind us and force ahead. So I'd like to say thank you so much tonight. And if I have done anything personally to anybody, maybe knowing it or unknowing it, I'd like to say I'm sorry. Please forgive me, and let all of us turn to each other and say we are sorry. Let's put a path behind us and force ahead. Thank you so much for the opportunity, and I'm at your service. Mr. Krumah, you can give my number to as many people as possible who may like to know what is happening in our country and what is happening in our city. I'm at their service, and I promise I'm going to be there to give them all the answers, except for the one I don't know, but I will still work with the community people to provide them the answers. Thank you so much for tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Honorable Mayor. And I cannot thank you enough. I think you've said it all. So we will call it a night. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being here, because quite frankly, if it wasn't for you, the mayor wouldn't be here. It works hand in hand. If it wasn't for the mayor, we have no reason to be here. And if it wasn't for you, the mayor will have no reason to be here. So I want to thank you folks for being such a loyal listener and for coming on to listen to our mayor. As I said earlier, we will let you know as to who our next guest will be comes next Sunday. Until then, you have a wonderful night. Mayor, my regard to your family. You have a good night, sir. We are done here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.